if the hype is to be believed, it's all going to kick off in style tonight on Coronation Street as Steve and Tracy's big day arrives. Now, Steve's former wife, Becky, who's previously been wrongfully stitched up by that evil Tracy, has put her revenge into action and plans to stop the wedding and Tracy's nasty scheming. But will she go through with her intentions and make Steve realise what a big mistake he's about to make? I cannot wait for that tonight. That's on 2 episodes tonight, Love a Monday. But just speaking more generally, should you ever step in and say to somebody, don't do it, in anybody else's relationships?
Well, I think as Becky's doing it there, and I probably wouldn't have been as brave, but that's Corrie classic weddings. They've always been brilliant at that. Personally, it's a very big risk to take, but I have done it because I've been asked.
Not on the day,
Not on the day, obviously. No, if somebody's asked me about their relationship, and it's usually after friends moaning on the phone for ages or, you know, years ago, and then all of a sudden they're happy again. And I think it's a big decision to take because you want to go, well, it's all going to be all right. But if you love someone very much, you have to say, well, hang on a minute, you've said this before, and is it going the right way? I mean, whether you're right or whether you're wrong is, sorry, not your problem, but at least you said something, at least you've been a good friend. Else you're just wishy-washy.
And would you do it even if somebody didn't ask you?
Do you know what, Carol? I don't think I would. I don't think I would. I think it'd have to be somebody who'd asked me or wanted my advice. I think you've got to let people make their own mistakes because in the fact that they haven't asked you, they don't want your answer. Do you see what I mean? They don't want... And a lot of people, I think, know
They know the answer.
They know the answer, yeah.
And so to me. You see, as part of the nation, you probably watched me get married. And everybody was shouting...
What was the audience for that? It was massive, wasn't it?
Oh, millions.
About 20 million or something.
It's about 120 million, I think.
Yeah, 600 million worldwide. We were bigger than the royal wedding.
Oh, dear.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that would have been a ratings winner if someone had walked in and gone, no!
No! In fact, I'm surprised my mother didn't, I'll be honest. Because everybody was looking at the telly and thinking, oh, she's going to regret that.
Really?
Yeah, because everybody could see it but me.
Did anybody say to you, though, before?
No, because I wouldn't have listened, just like Sally said. I was so in love with him and I thought I could change him. Yes! Don't we all fall into that? It's a funny thing, isn't it? Because I think, no, it's all going to be fine. When we get married, everything's going to be lovely.
So you had your doubts, though?
Oh, yeah. I have my doubts every time I walk out the house, love. It's just... you know, you do, don't you? You know, and
once it got to that stage as well, and especially as yours was so public, there's absolutely no way that you would have turned around at the last minute and gone, oh, sorry, I'm not doing this.
Can you imagine that?
Well, no.
No?
I did it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, you see.
I knew in my head, when I got married the first time, that I just knew it was wrong.
Yeah, you see?
I just thought, there are so many signs here. There are so many... You know, the fact that after we got married, I mean, the registry office was just revolting. We didn't tell anyone, so, you know, a couple of people turned up in their gym gear. and then the registrar got this terrible pink satin cushion out and said, where's the rings? So I haven't got any rings. So no rings. And then we went to a pub afterwards and lost the marriage certificate. I mean, how many signs do you need? But you're right. If someone had said to me beforehand, don't do it, I wouldn't have listened, because you're right. At the time, you just think, oh, it's going to be all right. It'll be fine. I'll make it all right.
Yeah.
I didn't, obviously, but I don't regret it at all. And I wouldn't say anything to people, because I believe people have to make their own mistakes, and you do learn from everything that happens. But I think in Becky and Steve's case, going back to Corrie for a minute, I think that's right. I think she needs to tell him what's happened, because if you've read the papers, you know what's happened. Well, I think you know what's happened.
No, don't tell me.
Don't tell me. No, but I do. I think she needs to say it.
Head.
You know, if my best friend was getting married to someone who I suddenly found out at the last minute, you know, was a murderer or something, of course I'd go in there and try and stop it. But, you know, generally, if you just don't like your friend's partner, you know, I don't think it's got anything to do with you, and you've got to let them go there with them.
Becky's the winner.
I wish Sally had been around when I was getting married the first time, because I needed someone to tell me. And I would say, say every time, yes, yes, yes,
Would you?
yes.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Even if
Not in the church, obviously.
No, but even if nobody had...
Absolutely, because it wasn't a successful marriage, and I knew beforehand, like, you girls, you know, it wasn't right. Oh, I tried to get out of it, couldn't get out of it, and yet, you know, afterwards, which wasn't long after the wedding when we got divorced, you know, his friends and my friends were saying, well, you see, I knew it wasn't going to work. Why did you say it at the time? Why did you say at the time?
Would you have listened?
Every time. And I would say, only obviously to really good friends, or whether it was my daughter, or whether... And if I really had doubts about it, I would say, having been through it and wishing desperately that somebody had kind of dragged me out.
But
yes.
if you knew,
yes,
Carol,
yes,
if you
yes,
knew
every
in
time.
your head that it wasn't quite right, it doesn't matter what people say to you. You knew it. You could have done something
and
about
to some
it.
people it does matter. It wouldn't to you, because you would go, no, I'm doing it anyway. But for me, it would have done. I would actually go, you're right, because I've got my doubts.
I get that. I think what she means is you get caught up with the party of it, don't you? With the the wedding and everybody's coming and the friends. Oh, it's just nerves. It's just nerves. So you sort of start to believe them encouraging you, really, as opposed to.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute, mate.
But didn't any of your friends say to you before you went too far that they had their doubts? No one, because a lot of people did to me.
I said
just didn't
I
listen
had
to
my
them.
doubts, and they were a bit wishy-washy about it. But afterwards, then they all piled in and said yes, and his friends, funnily enough. Really? But I do, and I know it sounds an awful thing to say if you've been the other person on the receiving end, that those people who pull out of a wedding with a matter of weeks to go or something, it takes a lot of courage to do that. I don't think it's a weak thing.
And money. Don't forget, you paid all them deposits up front.
A lot of people go through with it.
You have them, haven't you?
What?
There's a lot of money being paid out, shelled out,
Well,
out there.
I know I was more worried if I'd cancelled the wedding about telling the hotel manager than I was about
It's ridiculous, though, isn't it?
It is ridiculous. That's
I just want to know about your guests in gym gear. What? What's that about, mate?
Because nobody knew. He insisted that we didn't tell anybody. So he basically said to his work pals, "Oh, come down to King's Cross at about 2 o'clock." And they turned up. They were like, "We've just been out on a shoot. They're all sweaty and they all had gym gear on and flip-flops." And they just walked in. And they walked in like, "What's going on here?" I'm like, "I don't know."
After all our very successful marriages, it's break time.